voted for Donald Trump, she supported Donald Trump, and now she sits in an ICE detainment center. This is the breaking news story of Camilla and Bradley. She is an immigrant from Peru. He happens to be a legal U.S. citizen. They got married. They've been married for 2 years. They are working on her paperwork for her to become a legal permanent resident. She works on a W-2. Okay, so she's going through all the proper channels to become a citizen here. And she's still got, or I guess she's not deported, she's detained awaiting deportation. So he didn't know this was going to happen to him. Do you, as the viewer, a liberal viewer, did you know it was going to happen to him? We can have a whole fucking Dora moment here, because that's how incompetent these people seem to be. You said we were fear-mongering, that it would never happen. Now that it has come knocking at your door literally, you're sitting there and regretting your vote. You stated you knew it was going to go down, but you didn't know it was going to go down like this. We all knew. You ignored it. FAFO.
Hello guys, welcome back everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Now, this story has people talking, and for good reason. Imagine standing by a political decision so strongly that even when it comes back to bite you directly, you refuse to admit it. That's exactly what's happening here. Bradley Bartel, a Wisconsin man, voted for Trump, supported his tough immigration policies, and just had his Peruvian wife detained by ICE. Yeah, that's right, after their honeymoon, you can imagine. And would you believe it? He still says he has no regrets. Now, we are going to break this down, talk about the bigger picture, and of course, I'll be giving you my full take on it. But first, let's check out what people had to say, then I'll be back.
A Trump voter is now in the find out phase as his wife is sitting in an ICE detention center ready to be deported. Now meet Bradley Bartel and his wife Camilla. There they are, the happy couple just married. Now, he voted for Donald Trump even though his wife was here illegally. She originally came on a visa, but she overstayed that visa. And he supported Donald Trump despite his policies to deport people. Now, he thought it would be somebody else, but on return from their honeymoon in Puerto Rico, ICE picked her up because she was on a database for overstaying her visa. And of course, these people are just beside themselves. They didn't think this would happen to them. They thought it would be the others. They thought Camilla would get to stay because she was originally vetted for a visa. She was working, she had a W-2, and she paid taxes. They thought she would be the last one in the clubhouse who could pull up the ladder and prevent everybody else from coming in. But now they're in the find out phase. And he is upset. He calls the conditions she's in terrible. They can't believe they would do this to somebody. Well, he was ready for it to happen to somebody else. And welcome to the find out phase.
So let me get this right, Mr. Bradley. You voted for Trump and thinking and believing that he was only going to deport illegal document people here. And now your wife is being deported? No, seriously, I don't mean to laugh. Let's talk about this. Because you didn't think about your wife and her paperwork before you voted for a man that was sending people back to their country? You didn't want to get your wife her citizenship yet? You thought she was untouchable because Trump don't lie. No, he don't lie. No, not at all. He doesn't. So now you and your wife is fighting for her life? For her not to be deported? You voted for him. You voted for him. Okay, goodbye. Have a good day.
Alright, let's lay out the facts. So, Bradley and his wife Camila Munoz had been together for a while, and she had been living in the US for years. But the issue is her visa had already expired, and they were in the process of getting her legal residency sorted out. But guess what? Under Trump's policies, overstaying a visa is a major offense. So, after they enjoyed their honeymoon in Puerto Rico, they land back in the US, and ICE is waiting right there in the airport. Camila was taken away, and just like that, his wife is in custody. A woman he legally married who was working towards legal status is suddenly treated like a criminal, and his reaction, he just shrugged it off and said it is what it is. Now, people aren't just upset about what happened, they are calling out the hypocrisy. You see, Bradley actively supported policies that don't just affect other people, but ended up tearing apart his own family.
Just don't know about this man in Wisconsin who voted for Donald Trump 3 times, and now he's upset because his wife's in an ICE detention center. He's probably still going to vote for Donald Trump. all over again. And it's just totally insane to me. He'll vote for Donald Trump all over again, despite his wife being held in a detention center, exempt from constitutional protection, surrounded by men who don't believe she's human. That's right. Donald Trump voters don't believe illegals are human. Trump himself has said it. They are not human. His wife, to those guards, is not human. And he's going to vote for Donald Trump again. I told my parents years ago, I need to know where your red line is, because they're huge MAGA followers. They love the Red Hat Klan. What's your red line? And they just keep moving the goalpost. They just keep compromising their values. I don't know my parents anymore. They are not the parents that I had in the 90s when I was a kid. Things have changed. They have given over their principles, their values. They're completely compromised. I'm married to a black woman. My parents' grandkids are black. And Tennessee, which I lived in for years, went to college there, now makes it legal to discriminate against our marriage, and other states will follow. Those protections are being dismantled, and that's the whole thing. I don't want to call them a cult anymore. Jonestown was a cult. David Koresh in Waco, Texas was a cult. The Schnazis were far more dangerous than a cult. They questioned the thing that held their society together, which is the rule of law, until they completely dismantled the society and took big segments of their people and threw them into the gutter. Right now, our executive leaders are stepping upon the rule of law. They told us for years, my whole life, Republicans have been telling me law and order, that we are a country of law and order, and that's what makes us great. But they moved that goalpost. That's not what makes us great anymore. Get rid of the law and order. The only thing that matters is loyalty. Loyalty to the man at the top. And our Secretary of Defense has said unity is our strength, not diversity. You cannot achieve unity without accepting diversity. Getting rid of diversity in and of itself is disunifying our people. Think that through, Mr. Secretary of Defense. This country was great before you guys got here, and you're slowly handing it over to the gutters of history. It's not a beautiful place to be in, and I hope to God that conservative Americans, because that's who needs to do this, conservative Americans will come to reality. Because you voted for something that's burning our house down. We're in it with you, but the house is burning because of your actions. I hope you wake up.
Some might argue, well, the law is the law, and sure, overstaying a visa isn't legal. But here's the thing. Trump's administration went extra hard on deportations, targeting even people who are in the process of legalizing their status. And it wasn't just about criminals, it was about making it harder for anyone who wasn't a citizen. And let's not forget, Trump repeatedly said he was focused on deporting the bad hombres, I quote. But here we have a woman who was married to a US citizen following the legal process, and still she was detained. So was that policy really about criminals?
This is definitely one of the most frustrating articles I think I have read in my entire life. He voted for Trump. Now his wife sits in an ICE detention center. This man and his wife were honeymooning in Puerto Rico, and on their way back into the mainland United States, they were stopped. Specifically, the wife was stopped by an immigration agent, and he asked, "Are you an American citizen?" She said no, because she wasn't. She is from Peru. But the thing is, her and her husband have been taking all of the legal steps so that she can get her U.S. citizenship. You know, she's been paying taxes here. She's married to an American citizen. But that didn't stop ICE. As you can see here, they were wearing their wedding rings on the flight home, secure in the knowledge that the U.S. government knew they had applied for her green card. The crime that she had committed was that she had overstayed her original visa. But they reasoned she had been vetted from the start and worked on a W-2 and paid her taxes. And this is the part right here that just drives me nuts. Before the agents led her away, she pulled her wedding ring off, afraid it might get confiscated. So she shoved it into her backpack and handed it to her husband. And then he shook his head as he watched her disappear, and he thought, what the f*** do I do? What do you mean, what do you do? You voted for this. This is your fault.
And you see, you have so many people who supported strict immigration laws, thinking they'd only affect other people, only to find out they themselves were part of the group being targeted. And it's wild because Bradley still won't admit that this was a problem. He said, and I quote, "I knew what I was voting for. I supported these policies." So let me ask you, at what point does reality set in? When does it go from being just politics to being your life? And more importantly, is this the kind of country people really want to live in? One where families are ripped apart even when they are following the process? This whole thing is just a huge reality check. Some folks don't realize what they are voting for until it affects them personally. And even then, some like Bradley refuse to admit it. So guys, what do you all think about this entire situation? Let's talk about it and drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know what you think. And before you go, if you made it this far, first of all, let me say thank you for supporting me. And kindly make sure to turn on the notification bell for new trending episodes. And of course, like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.